Braedyn, and in this video I'm going to show you how I crocheted this very popular crochet top design that I see all over the internet. And I also wanted to mention that if you have any questions whatsoever, to please read the description box below first, and then if your question is not answered in the description box, then leave a comment down below. Alrighty then, let's get started with the tutorial. For this project, I am using white yarn from the brand Impeccable, and before you ask how much yarn I'm using, I actually don't know. I just reached into the bottom of my yarn bucket, grabbed a bunch of yarn balls, and started working with them, so I don't have any clue how much yarn I use for this project, but I do know that I'm using a 5mm hook, and that you can use whatever kind of yarn that you want. I think mine is partially cotton, partially acrylic, I don't know. Just whatever yarn feels good to you, you can use. It doesn't matter. So the first thing I'm going to do is make a slip knot, and then I'm going to chain enough chains to wrap around my torso and cover part of my back. Make sure that this chain isn't too long and it actually doesn't touch from beginning to end when you wrap it around yourself. You want to leave about a 5 to 7 inch gap between it, so make sure that the chain is pretty long but not too long, because then your shirt's going to be too big for you. So after you've created that chain, you are going to go back on that chain using a double crochet. And if you're not sure what a double crochet is, let me show you real quick. It is yarn over through the stitch, yarn over, back through the stitch, yarn over, back through 2 loops, and yarn over, back through the last 2 loops. Now if that's too fast for you, that's okay. I actually have a crocheting for beginners video that I will leave in the description box below, and you can practice with that video first and then maybe try out some more beginner friendly crochet top tutorials that I have on my channel. But again, yarn over through the stitch, yarn over, back through the stitch, yarn over again, back through 2 loops, then yarn over and back through the last 2 loops. And that's what a double crochet is. Just one more time for those of you who just need a reminder. Through the stitch, or yarn over through the stitch, yarn over again, back through the stitch, then yarn over again, through 2 loops, yarn over once more, and back through the last 2 loops. And you're just going to continue doing that throughout your entire chain until you get to the very end, and then I'm going to show you what I do once I get to the end of my chain. Okay, so I have made double crochets into all of the stitches except for this last one, so I'm just going to make this last double crochet, then I'm going to chain 1, flip it over, and then make yet another double crochet on top of the previous double crochet right here inside the opening at the top, not right here where I put it through right now. You can go through that big opening, or you can go through this top opening. Go into the little opening, not the big opening. Otherwise, I think it looks kind of weird. I mean, in some projects it looks okay, but in this project it looks better if you just go through that little opening on top as opposed to that big opening at the bottom. So yeah, go into the top ones. And hopefully I didn't confuse you by showing you me going into the big opening. I just wanted to show you that that's not what you're supposed to do, and this is what you are supposed to do. And I'm going through that small opening at the top of the stitch as opposed to the big opening as I did before. And that's why I unraveled it. So, hopefully I didn't confuse you there. I'm just trying to make sure that you don't do the same mistake that I once did. One time I made a whole, or at least almost a whole project by going into the big opening of the double crochets, and towards the end I realized that didn't look as good, so I had to unravel the whole thing. And hopefully you can avoid that mistake by just going into that top part of the double crochet and making it look nice and pretty. So you're just going to go through the entire row making double crochets once again, and it's going to start looking like this. And once you get to the end of that, you're just going to do the exact same thing. Every time you get to the end, you're just going to make that last double crochet. Okay, through 2 loops, through the last 2 loops. Then you're going to chain 1, flip it over, and then start making more double crochets on top of the previous double crochets. And you're actually going to do this for many rows. It's just double crochet the entire time. until you have completed a project that when you put it against yourself, you like the coverage. And when I say put it against yourself, I mean pretend that you're actually going to wear it. So put it on your chest and align it as if you were actually going to wear it. And if you like the way that it covers, as in it covers your breast area, and it's long enough to your liking. Sometimes people like crop tops, sometimes people like that it covers their whole body. So depending on your preference, just keep crocheting until you like the size. Personally, I wanted a crop top, so I made this portion so that it covered right above my chest, or right above my breast, towards the bottom of my rib cage. And remember that this part is not going to be your entire top. This part is just going to be this area right here, and then you're also going to add this bottom area, so just remember that. After you're done with that portion of the top, you're going to start where you left off, and I'm actually going to chain 2 this time because we're going to start making triple crochets, or at least what I think is called triple crochets. I feel like I always ask you guys if this is an actual triple crochet, and people say yes, that is a triple crochet, but then when I actually look up how to do a triple crochet, it's totally different, so I don't understand. But anyway, I'm just going to continue calling it a triple crochet. Alright, so I made a triple crochet, and then I chained 1, and I'm going to skip a stitch, and then go into that next stitch and make another triple crochet. And after you completed that triple crochet, then you're going to chain 1 and chain 1. You're going to skip a stitch, go into that next stitch, and create another triple crochet. And after you're done with that, you're going to chain 1, skip a stitch, yarn over, through that stitch, yarn over again, back through the stitch, yarn over again, kind of chain 1, yarn over through 2 loops, and then yarn over through the last 2 loops. I know that was very fast for you, but I believe I go over it in my Crocheting for Beginners video, so you can of course go back to that and then come back to this tutorial if you are up for it. And this is what your project should start looking like after a few stitches, and you're just going to do that throughout your entire top, so all the way to the end, and then once you get to the end you're going to chain 2 and then start creating more triple crochets on top of the previous triple crochets. And I'm just going to skip to the end so I can show you what I do when I get to the end. And what I do is chain 2 like that, then I go into that first triple crochet, create yet another triple crochet, boom, yay. That's what it kind of looks like. It kind of looks funky, but in the end it'll look okay. Then you're going to chain 1, then create another triple crochet inside of the previous triple crochet. So no more skipping. Make sure that you do it on top of the previous triple crochet, right on the tower, I guess, that you make. Make sure you don't go within the opening of the stitch. Make sure you go right on top of the previous stitch. Otherwise it's going to come out wonky, and you don't want it wonky, you want it wonderful. So yeah, just continue making these triple crochets on top of the previous triple crochets, and once you get to the end of the row, then you're going to chain 2 and then create more triple crochets on top of those triple crochets until you have a portion of the top that you are happy with. And I would suggest that this portion of the top is actually not bigger than the top portion, just because I think that it looks better that way, but it's completely up to you, of course. Personally, I made mine smaller than the top, just so, I don't know, I feel like it's more aesthetically pleasing like that. So after you have completed your triple crochets, you're actually going to create a strap, and you just create a strap by making a chain. My chains are normally about 150 chains long, but that might be a little too much. I just always keep it very long because I like them really long, even though I may not necessarily need them that long. I just like to make sure that I definitely have enough strap to, secure it. And after you have created a chain of however long you would like, then you're going to go back on that chain using a slip stitch just to make it more secure, and also so you can go back to your top, because we're actually going to do more to the top. So I'll meet you back right over here to make the scallops. Actually, that's the end of part 1, and if you want to watch part 2, which I'm sure you do because you want to complete the top, the link to part 2 will be in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and also click that red subscribe button if you have not already so I can see you next time. Bye!